Okay, so very good evening to all of you. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm the audio test, please. Guys, can you just, anybody of you, just confirm the audio is the clear and the video also? All right, so thank you so much. So we were just quickly move ahead for the previous session. Okay. Let us first of all let us understand what we have done in the last session, and adding to that, we will add some examples of while loop, right? So a couple of examples we have finished, and we will try to add some more examples to the last class to make a better practice of this. Okay, so okay, so I'm making a today's session is more of examples. Okay, so let us say examples on while loop. Okay, so today is mostly we are trying to discuss about some examples, right? So the examples on looping statements, especially in the today's session, we were just using most of the while loop related examples. Okay, now, so now let us make a quick start for the today's session with the first example. Okay, now let us get started with the first program as let's say read a number as input. Okay, first thing is what you need to read a number as an input. After reading this number, say you need to print the digits of the number. You need to print the digits of the given number in reverse order, or in other terminology we can say is from right side direction. Okay, it means I will give you a simple example of inputs and output for this program. Let's say if I'm giving an input as 145, we are expecting an output for this program as 5, 4, and a 1, right? So let us quickly understand in this program what we are trying to do is. Let's say input is 145, right? When we are giving an input as 145, it's a number. So as we have given a number as an input, we were expecting an output in such a way that this is the output we are expecting. Okay. So in this case, how we can able to produce this output? That's a very important thing. Number should converting into a digits, and converted after that we have to print in that numbers in the reverse order. Okay, let us make sure that we will have a couple of simple algorithms to complete this program. We'll have a couple of simple algorithms to complete this example. The first and foremost thing is we need to understand 145. Let's say from 145, we were expecting a first time output as 5, correct? Similarly, second time we are expecting output as 4, and the third time we are expecting output as 1. It means in 3 different stages or 3 different parts of the program or 3 repetitions of that program should needs to print the output called 541. For example, imagine that your input is of a 4-digit number. It means you have to repeat a loop in such a way that it has to be repeat for 4 times. Each time of a repetition of that loop should need to print a digit. Each time the repetition of a loop, nothing but a loop is something which a repetition always, right? When you say a loop itself is a repetition, right? So that repetition should has to be done in every time. Now let us make sure that I want 145 as an input. I need a 5 output. How I get? Basically, when I divide this number, every time when you divide this number with a 10, I can get here, let's say 140. I can get here as a 140 and should have output something called 5. Should have output something called 5. Okay, now should have output called something called 5. So how we are getting this output here is because of the reminder, correct? This is what a reminder. This time, each time you do the same. Each time divide this number by 10 and get the modular division of 10 so that you will get the reminder. Print that reminder so that the algorithm of this program will be finished. Okay, hope you understand, right? So I'm just applying the same algorithm. Okay, I'm just taking a simple screenshot of it. Okay, so just using of this simple basic algorithm, let us make sure that we are trying to print some output. Let us make sure that we are trying to print some output, or we supposed to produce the expected output otherwise. First of all, I'm just reading an input by using an input function, and hope everybody is clear with this statement, correct? If you practice it properly with a couple of examples which we have discussed in the last class and the couple of examples on the first classes, you could able to see this output. You could able to understand the statement properly, correct? In this statements, what we have is, it's a pretty simple. We are trying to read an input, that is input function should be converted into integer format and saving into a variable of n. Now we want explicitly to number should be becomes as 0, so that when I'm writing it here not equals to 0, it means when it is not equals to 0, it going to enter into this loop, and we are trying to produce the first reminder. What is that? We are trying to produce the reminder. This is what the reminder is, correct? So let's print this reminder. Let's print the reminder and print that output in the same line. Okay. Now, if you are directly executing this loop, this will be goes to the infinite. Okay. I don't want to go to this infinite. Let us divide this number by 10 times. Nothing but each time that value will be get decreased. Right. So that's it. Let's execute this particular example. See that I expected output something else, but I'm getting an output is something else. Correct? Is because of the reason in this program, what we have to understand is at this particular line. Hope you understand this particular variable, right? Or this operator, correct? So what is this operator is going to do is it's divide a number by 10 and returns the output in terms of a decimal. See that it is giving the output in a decimal here. It is giving an output in a decimal. It is giving an output in a decimal. As we are not expecting a decimal output for it, so that keeps a double divisible sign, so that you see that output is 145 is the input. We are expected as what the expecting output here, and we have print the C. Now let us trying to understand this, guys. Okay, let us make sure that try to concentrate here how this loop is executing, right? First of all, we were reading this input. Hope everybody knows this statement, correct? Now, for example, what is the value we have supplied for this? We have supplied an input called 145. Okay, so first time loop is repeating for the first time. First time loop repetition. What happened in the first time of a loop repetition is it is trying to divide a number by 10. It means it is wants the remainder, correct? It means, let's say 145 is modular division of 10. What is the result value? Result value will be 5, correct? Where is the result value now? Result value will be in R, a variable called R. Then we are printing this variable here. Yes or no? We are just printing a variable here. And then immediate after 145 double division of 10, what it give you? It gives the coefficient, but the coefficient is not in terms of a float, not in terms of a decimal point. It is going to rewind, or it is going to give you in terms of an integer. So what is the integer value here? That is something called 14, right? What is the value of n right now? The n value after completing a first loop, n value is representing here 14, right? N value is representing called 14 now. Okay, now. So after this one, it moves into, once it is done, it will not stop. It again go back, because as it is a looping statement, remember that as it is a looping statement, it go back. When this go back, your loop second will be start executing. Your second loop start will be execution starts from here. Now what is the n value? 14, which is modular division of 10, gives the output called 4, and then 114 divisible by 10, which gives the answer something for, what is that? 1, correct? It means after this, n value will be 1 here. Reminder value is what? 4. So that first time 5 is printed, second time 4 is printed. And the last and final loop, because we have only 3 things, okay, 3 numbers in the input loop. So now let me make sure that writing a third loop. What is the third loop is going to be do? Third loop will be like this. One is modular division of 10, which means, what is the output? Some people will say it as 0. Some people will it says that 0.1. Some people will be say something else. But one modular divisible by something will be answer as 1. Remember that. 0 modular division by 10, 0. 2 modular division by 10, that is 2. Okay. So that's the reason any modular divisible by 10 from 0 to 9, digits 0 to 9 will be 1 always. Okay, whatever the digit, it's not 1, whatever it might be. But one modular divisible by 10 is going to give you the something called 0. Okay? Whenever it is 0, 0 is not equals to 0, the condition is true, then immediately after that, your loop will get stop execution, so that you can see the output for the given program. Okay, right? Is that clear, guys? Right? Is that clear, guys? Everybody, just execute this program, right? And just let me know, do you have any questions here? All right. So I hope this example is clear, right? So let us move to the one more example. Okay. Similarly, let's say read a number as input. Okay. Read a number as input. You need to print. You need to print the odd digits, right? You need to print odd digits uh, in the given number. Anyhow, remember one thing: whenever a number has been input, it's every time the output from digits from right side only. You cannot get the output from a left side. Remember one thing: if I'm removing a digit from the left side direction, obviously number will have a scope. That scope will be loose. The scope will be there is no scope for that number. Simple as that. If you remove the digits from the left side, let's say 145. If you just remove a 1, it becomes a 45. It means a number does not have a proper scope, correct? So that's the reason anytime when you remove a digits, anytime, in terms of a mathematical or in terms of a computers, right? In the both the cases, a digits is always retrieved from a right side direction. Okay, so let me just take a simple example here. First of all, reading an input, that is int. First of all, I make a loop such a way that whatever the input supposed to be not equals to 0, because explicitly as a programmer or as a developer, you are making a number as a 0, correct? So that's the reason it is when it is not equals to 0. First of all, I wanted to make sure that it has to be remainder divisible by 10, correct? Now the question is, we have a reminder we have in the given program. We have a reminder with us right now, correct? When we have a reminder with us, as a program is expecting odd digits. How do we do that? When you check the given reminder, it is even or odd. It means if R modular division 2 is not equals to 0, it's a condition for odd digit. Let's print the reminder here, right? And then remember that there is only one statement inside if, and the rest of the statements will be under this statement. Now let me execute this. Okay, 108,809, in which how many odd digits are there? There is only 2 odd digits. So we have printing a 2 odd digits by using this. Remember this particular example, and you have to understand very much careful here indentations. You have to understand, very important thing is you have to understand the indentation. Almost 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are of 6 statements. First of all, this all 6 statements under the while. A looping statement called while, we have a 6. In which the statement number 5 is under if. It means a block of statements will be under if, a block of statements will be under while, correct? But especially if you are looking at a Python programming, if you're just looking at a Python programming, this Python programming is required certain parameters with the help of a colon, because we don't have a block symbolics. Let's say open and close curly braces, you do never find in Python. That representation we do with the colon symbol. That is how you have to understand it. Okay, now is that clear now? This example, let me give you one more example so that I'll give you some time to look at that. Okay, let's say read a number as input. Now find the sum of the digits. Right, find the sum of the digits of the given number. It means, let me just tell you one thing. If an input is about, if your input is, let's say 145, as per this particular program, we are expecting an output called 10, correct? 1 plus 4, 5, 5 plus 5, 10. 10 is the expected output for this. How do we do this? This kind of programs, how can we execute it? As this program is also expecting a number as an input, let me just read this. Let me just read an input. Once we read an input, okay, once we actually read an input, so what we can do is place a while loop, check for if it is not equals to 0, we have to enter inside a loop. What is that? When we have nothing to go for, we have to go for here something called while. Then what we need to do is, first of all, read the reminder. Anyhow, no changes here because we are just working on the digits. When we are saying something or the something related to a digits, 101% you have to take care about a reminder. Next, we wanted sum, right? Sum by default, I'm making it to a 0 here. I wanted to add a sum value to remind always, and let's say n double divisible by 10, and print a sum outside the loop. These are the couple of things you need to make pretty much clear. See that indentations are very much important. As I told you, if I'm placing a 3 statement inside a loop, let's say 4, 5, and 6, 3 statements will be under what? While. Right? This is not under a while, it is outside a while. It's outside the while statement, correct? So that's the reason it is printing only once. If you're placing this here after the 6 statement, continuation of this indenting, then you will get the output 3 different statements. Okay now. So let us look at these 2 examples now. Now then we are just after this we'll see a couple of more examples. All right, so hope it's clear, right? Do you have any questions about these two programs? Guys, do you have any questions about these two programs? Anybody have questions in this two programs? Okay, all right. So thank you so much. Next, it's a very important question, guys. This is a question we have seen the question. Most of the online competition exams or online entrance exams for most of the recruiting based companies. Okay, most of the recruiting based companies have this type of a question. Okay, so what is that question is? Yeah, the question is you need to read a number as an input, right? You need to read what? A number as an input. After reading this number, you have to print the highest sum among, let's say, anything is fine. Okay, highest sum among even and odd sum. This is a question. Let's say this kind of question they have basically asked. So what is the question meaning? Okay, again, before we go for an explanation of the question, now let me take an input here 145. They were expecting an output for this one as, they're expecting an output for this one as, let's say 6. I'm giving you one more input here to understand, to make it little more easier for you. I'm giving a one more example that our output is 16 for the second test case. You need to understand this question very much clearly. Let us make the understanding of this question little more easier and clear. So what is the input? Input is pretty much clear. It's a number. It might be any number. It can be a 4-digit number, 5-digit number, 10-digit number, or it can be something else. Okay. It can be something else. That doesn't matter here. Okay. Next. What actually we are expecting is we wanted to print highest sum, maximum sum. Otherwise, sometimes they will ask you for a max sum among, nothing but between two sums, let's say even sum and odd sum. If you just take this input, understand the input is having a how many digits? Let's say 3 digits, that is 5, 4 and 1. Okay, now we have a 3 digits in this number. Let us take a sum of odd digits. What is the sum of odd digits here? Odd digits sum will be probably a 6. Okay, now what is the even digit sum here? Even digit sum is 4. Okay. All right, so guys, have you tried this example? Yes, have you tried it or not? Okay, so no problem. Let's see the output for this problem. Okay. Let's say first we are just reading an input for this program. Okay. After reading an input, let's make if input is not equals to zero. If an input is not equals to zero, let's find a reminder first of all. Let's find a reminder first of all. Now, your task in this case is you need to find odd sum and then followed by you can even find even sum, both the sums. Okay, now, right? In Python, I'll tell you, there is a once instead of writing these two statements, instead of writing a two statements, two different lines, we can write a multiple declarations and assignment can be done in the single line. This is also we can do it. Both the same. This is meaning of same. Either you write this or you write this meaning of same. Okay, now simple. So first I'll check for if R is modular division 2 is equals to 0. Then I will add a sum to this variable here, right? Or else it means if it is not even, or else you wanted to write a condition also, we can write a condition here, no problem. Is not equals to 0, which basically an odd digit, right? Next, we'll just trying to figure it out the reminder value. Once it is done, your task is completed. It means that you're basically implemented a logic, but output is not printed, right? So how do I print an output here? If both are pointing to the same value, I mean to say both the sums are same, then you can print anything. That's not be an issue at all. Either you print odd sum or even you print a even sum also, no problem. It meaning of same. Else if even sum is pointing a greater than odd sum, nothing but odd sum is greater than even sum, then we can print here even sum. Okay, now if even sum is pointing lesser than odd sum, then we can just print here odd sum. Let's say 145, yes, 6, 1889, 16. Correct? Yes, please look into this program and let me know, do you have any questions in this program? All right, so guys, have you done with this example? Guys, are you done with this example? And do you have any questions about this example? Do you have any questions regarding this example, guys? Okay, so yeah, if everything is okay, so I'm done with the today's examples. Tomorrow we are moving to the another set of examples. Okay, do you have any questions? Please let me know. There is another minute left, so we'll quickly sort that. If not, we are just end up the session for today. So hope everything is clear, right? All right. So yeah, I'm done for the today's session. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.